Hello. It is a little bit later in the day today. It's 2:19. But yeah, I've been enjoying my daily walks for the most part, aside from Sunday. It's been nice, so I'm just gonna keep going. I think it's also helped my knee in a way. It doesn't. I noticed that when I bend it, where like I try to like sit on it, not like sit directly on my knee, but you know what I mean, like sit on my feet, that's when I get the most pain now. So I don't know what that means, but yeah. So, but the walking, I don't have any issues. Anyway, hi. Man, it's kind of almost like I guess I do enjoy these walks a lot. And it just I felt lost not doing a walk earlier. My roommates went because they were going to go do something at work or whatever. So they went to go get food and whatnot. And yeah, so I was in this position of just sitting here waiting to get the car so I could go for a walk. And man, I was just like so just bored. It was so weird. It was like I wanted to go out and do things, but I just didn't have the car. And I'm like, damn. Yeah, I kind of I don't know. It was fine. I'm here now, but I still haven't done the, talk about being bored. I still haven't done the thumbnails, and they're all uploaded. Every video's uploaded. I just have to do thumbnails for them, and thumbnails take like 2 minutes or 3 minutes per thumbnail. So I don't know what's going on there. I also have noticed, I don't know, like, I've just been really tired. Like, just really tired. It's like a soul tired. And I can't really explain why. I caught that web right before it hit me. But yeah, it's, I don't know. There's just this tiredness. And it was kind of mentioned in a video the other day about like feeling tired and sort of, I don't know, for lack of a better word, feeling tired. Basically, you just need to rest when you're feeling tired. And the exhaustion, it's like I don't have time to be exhausted. I kind of mentioned this when I saw the video. I think I mentioned it that day. But yeah, it's sort of like I got so much stuff to do. And I have like 10 days or 8 days left at this point. Well, you're fine, little guy. You're fine. But, yeah. So, even though I feel like I got a lot of stuff I need to do, I've just been like, fuck it. I'm gonna relax. Fucking watch some YouTube videos and just veg out. I ate, my steamed vegetables and tofu today in the morning. And yeah, that's just, whoa. That's just kind of been it. And I fucking feel bored. Now, to be fair, I haven't been reading for the past like week. And that's usually something that I enjoy a lot. And I can't tell if the lack of reading is simply because I've been focused on other things, or if I've just lost interest in the story at this point. Like, I feel like I kind of have gotten everything I wanted out of that story. And I don't know. Like, I'm sure there's more enjoyable, fun things for that story to kind of unfold, plot-wise and lore-wise, but yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see if I feel that way. I'm gonna be doing the trip down to go get the suit tomorrow. So yeah, I guess I'll know for sure. Because I'll have, 6-ish hours of reading. It'll be a full day of reading. Also, the roommates are being so insistent about the car. It's like they don't care about me specifically doing my stuff. They just care about whether they're gonna have access to the car or not. I know that's not true, but that's how it feels. And the more they pester about the car, the less I'm inclined to leaving it. And I know not leaving it with them, there will be a fucking big fit and hissy fit about it. And then they'll say somehow it's going to be my fault that they're screwed by not having a second car. I don't know. I just don't want to deal with it. It's like, it's my car. I've been very kind in letting you guys use it. And it kind of pisses me off at how insistent you are for me to leave the car with you. So, I also have been thinking a lot about, what I said yesterday, and just in general, like, I don't know. I think what I really am struggling with is I guess letting go, which sounds weird, but you know, I pulled out all of my stuff from the closets, what was left, aside from the clothes. I still have clothes in the closet, but you know, basically I've pulled out everything, and it's either on the floor or in the in like the calyx that I have that I had all my stuff on. And it's like Jesus Christ. I need to pay attention to it's 11:11 on the clock. I need to pay attention to the where I'm stepping, because I almost just destroyed myself. As I get closer and closer to leaving, there's this anticipation, and there also, I almost said an anxiety. So I think there is some anxiety around this. Booking a place to stay, I definitely want to do that. And then I still have to get the plane ticket to Italy. I feel like getting that plane ticket, it's like it solidifies for me that I actually am doing it. Not that I would back out, just to be clear. I'm not backing out, but like, I don't know, if I don't have the plane ticket, it doesn't feel real yet. And I know that's fucking me pretty hard when it comes to costs on the actual flight. So, yeah, I'm not sure. But I guess I do need to figure out, there's just so much I have to do. And I keep putting it off because, I don't know. Hey, little squirrel. Hi. I will say, well, there's a few things. I will definitely, I'll miss this place. And I thought about how it is possible that I come back and live here in the future, but not with my roommates, just having my own place somehow or whatever, right? So I'm not necessarily discounting staying here, but also it's kind of like, I just know that things are going to change so much. I've felt this shift in my energy of, it's like I'm being ultra giga protected. Like I got the angel protection squad all like in the fucking black suited like bodyguards, and So that's where it's like, I'm not worried about the thing itself. I just know that once I go through this kind of transformation, I'm not going to be able to go back. Like, you know, I talk about how when you open your eyes, you can't really unsee what you've seen. That's what also makes it so hard sometimes, because there's a disconnect between the reality you're living. Like if you have a job, you're doing a 40-hour week job, and you also recently open your eyes and you look around and you're like, oh my fucking God, what am I doing? Like this is crazy that I'm kind of making so many compromises to work here. And to be fair, jobs as we know it aren't going to be a thing in the next, I don't know, 5 years, 5-10 years. And I say that it's not a certainty, but you know, something I do want to point out. If you're not on the pulse of AI at all, you probably should actually start paying attention to AI. And not in a meme way of like, oh, haha, AI videos, we question if everything's AI, right? But in a, okay, I have a job right now, but AI will take over basically all jobs within, I don't know, 5 or 10 years. It depends on how fast AI develops. But, you know, we're going to have a civilization, for better or for worse, that is going to be unrecognizable due to both AI. It's like we have two things converging, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. But maybe that's part of the intention with all this. We have this looming AI crisis / opportunity that's basically spurring all the global superpowers to kind of, and I say superpowers, I'm talking the companies that, like, all these different companies, they're all fighting for the same thing, which is effectively having an AI that basically can control the world. You give it enough resources and enough brain power, and it basically just becomes like a new species that is smarter and better in every way to humans, right? And I say better in every way. I'm talking in traditional 3D physical reality, right? Where, you know, you want to dig a ditch and you get a robot to do it in half the time, and the robot will work 24/7, right? You complain about how shitty food is in fast food joints. Well, don't worry. When you get the AI robots that can make burger patties and fast food exactly the same every time, you will no longer have to worry about that. And so, you know, you have this kind of looming thing happening in the background. And again, most of the population don't even fucking know how serious this is. It's like probably one of the most serious things that we've ever had to deal with. And we're kind of, because everyone is afraid of each other, we get a scenario where everyone's racing to kind of make this new technology with no guardrails, no safety, just if we can sprint faster than the other person, it doesn't matter if we destroy ourselves in the process. We need to be the first because we can't let the other guy be first. And you know, it's like, oh, well, hold on. You guys had some spider webs on you. But yeah, so you have this scenario where like most people, they're just living their life, and you know, they're going to school, they're preparing to enter the workforce, they're 20 years into their job, they start seeing layoffs from random tech companies that they don't have any affiliation with. And they're like, oh, well, that's not a problem for me. All those smart people that are doing the smart jobs, they're finally getting their comeuppance, you know? Meanwhile, like, most of the population doesn't realize by the time they're automating your job, it's already too late to do anything about it. Because the tech companies will, and they have been, basically getting their people to create the tools to replace themselves. Basically, the goal is to have a company that has no employees and has just one guy, the CEO, or the owner of the company, basically control the entire thing through AI. That is the end goal that all these tech companies have. Because once you do that, and you hand over effectively the entire company to an AI, the AI will work 24/7, do everything that the CEO wants, and that's kind of it. And because of that, you kind of consolidate this mass amount of power in the hands of one or two people. And when everything is automated, you have your super giga computer. I say super giga computer. You have your super giga AI that is 100,000 times smarter than someone. And you have no idea what it's actually thinking. And this is why it's so dangerous, right? And a lot of people think, oh yeah, we've been hearing that for years, so that can't possibly be happening. But kind of all of the timelines, all of the analysts that used to work in the tech sector and were fired or let go or left, they've all been saying the same thing. It's not a coincidence that everyone sees that this is not good, what's happening. And it's very possible that in the next, 2 years, 3 years, they could already pass the point of no return with these AI models. Because you have to kind of understand, AI models are basically like it's like you're growing something as opposed to having a computer like execute a program. And you know, we already can see how fast the technology has matured, where 10 years ago you'd talk to a chatbot and it is fucking garbage. But now, like, we don't even know if a video is AI or not. We don't even know sometimes if we're talking to an AI. So, you know, you have to realize how fast things have been progressing. But anyway, so I'm bringing that up. And that's the one looming side. And then you have this other looming side, which is aliens. And, you know, honestly, this is so sci-fi that it just feels unreal at how, like, crazy things are getting. Because you have aliens on this other side. And I say aliens, it could literally be extra dimensional beings, future humans, whatever the fuck you want to call them. Because, you know, there's like, the rabbit hole goes so deep there. And, you know, there's plenty of information out there to go and do research on. But the main kind of takeaway is there are civilizations, multiple civilizations, that have been and are interacting with humanity. Whether we know all the details of it or not, that is in fact happening. The government says it, or the different governments have been saying it. There have been, you know, at this point, tens of thousands of whistleblowers all saying, hey, I was a part of this program. Hey, I was an ex-CIA operative. Hey, I was a general in Army intelligence, or blah, 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 whatever it is, right? And so, you know, this has shown up and been uncovered, along with all the Epstein Island stuff, and along with all the other things that have been disclosed. And you kind of, people have gotten so desensitized to shocking revelations. And this is a tactic and a ploy to kind of just lull people into a sense of complacency. But we're kind of just slowly marching towards this collision between humanity, AI, and extraterrestrials of some kind. And I'm not trying to say that you should be afraid of all this. But what I am saying is you should be aware and pay attention to what's going on. Because it may feel scary to realize that 5 or 10 years from now, we're not going to even notice how, like, it'll be so different that the past 20 years, it's like the changes that have happened. As an example, as someone who lived in the 90s, you know, I've kind of seen a very unique perspective. One where I was, as a child, without anything. Like, we had TV, but TV was not very widespread in terms of, like, at least in my friend group, we did not sit on the TV 24/7. We had Saturday night cartoons, or Saturday morning cartoons rather, and sometimes some reruns on stuff throughout the week. But, you know, there wasn't really, like, we would go out and play outside, dig in the dirt, climb trees, whatever. And, you know, most of us didn't have phones. We'd get on our bikes and we'd ride around, like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 miles around the area. We got to know all the different, like, parks in our area. We met other neighborhood kids, and then we'd all play together. And our adventures were, for the majority, based in a sort of imaginary space that allowed us to kind of develop in a unique way. And not every kid had the same experience, but that was my experience. And then my buddy gets a computer of his very own that he can use for school stuff. So of course we get Diablo 2 because, you know, the parents didn't know what the hell we were playing. So that was kind of that, and Duck Hunt, and Super Mario 3, I think. I don't remember. But, like, that was kind of video games. And then an N64. My other friend got an N64, so we'd play Diddy Kong Racing. But that was like, you know, for one, the parents were like, you can only play for a couple hours. Like maybe like 1 hour or 2 hours. And then we'd go outside and play. Oh, it's a nice day. Why are you playing Diddy Kong Racing? Go out and play, you know, with your trucks and pretend to be like digging and stuff. Oh, there's an owl. I know that. Whatever the fuck is the noise. Little owl. I don't know where it is. It's probably looking at me. Anyway. So this is kind of what we did as kids. You know, we had this fucking god-awful little the friend, you know, they at this point, but they always got you know, whatever they kind of wanted, because their dad was really good at like being a handyman. And so he built like a little playhouse in the backyard. So we'd run around in the playhouse, and then of course, after he got a playhouse, the other friend also got a playhouse, but that was like really expensive. That was like ordered specially to like, it was crazy. Like, I think about how insane it is to put a park level playhouse in your backyard. And I'm like, how did that even happen? That just sounds insane. But regardless, oh fuck. But yeah, so what I'm bringing up is I had a childhood that was pre-internet, in the truest sense. Blow my nose. And this pre-internet, it wasn't that the internet didn't exist, but it wasn't widespread. Same thing with phones. My first phone was a flip phone. I didn't have the Nokia. Back then, the Nokia was dumb because it didn't flip. That's what people forget. But the Razor flip phone, I remember that was a cool phone. That wasn't my first phone, that was like later, but even then, didn't have internet access. You could call and text, and it cost money to call and text, so you didn't do it that often. It wasn't unlimited everything. But, you know, I'm reminiscing about this, but I'm trying to kind of get to a point here, which is now that's kind of an impossibility for a kid to live that way. Not because you can't limit phones and all of this stuff, but because the social ramifications for a kid not having access to a tablet, to a phone, to all sorts of other stuff, makes it to where it's kind of just fucked. All the kids will be on their tablets and their phones, and if you're the only kid out, that makes it really hard to do anything. And inevitably, as with all kids of all generations, they'll just say, hey, can I borrow your tablet? And then they'll still get the tablet experience. So it's like, unless you're a helicopter parent or you're Amish, it's really fucked to try and just go outside as a kid. Yeah, they still do it, but there's kind of, things are much faster. So you don't get to learn by doing stupid mistakes. Like you ride your bike and you ride too fast downhill. You fall, scrape your knee, and then you learn a lesson about how to use your brakes for your bike or whatever. And then, you know, you scrape your knee and you start crying because you're fucking like 6 or 7. And you know, do I want to disturb this spider? He's making such a good web. Look at him. He's just living his little life. I'll turn around. It's a good time to turn around anyway. It's like 40 minutes. Let me get some water too. And I'm gonna blow my nose again. You know, it's just one of those moments. That rooster is just popping off. Alright, come on. And I've never had this, sorry. You guys are all over the place. I've never had this much problem putting the water back in. It's like, it's in the 80s. And it's hotter in here because there's no wind. So I'm like, it's rough. Okay, now I'm gonna blow my nose. All right. At least when I walk, it kind of feels like there's wind on me. So anyway, but my point is, it's something where the internet and tablets and phones have totally changed the game completely in a basically irreversible way. And it's made it tougher for kids growing up. And what I mean by that is kids don't realize what they're missing out on by not going outside and playing with friends without phones, without tablets. Because you learn so much from spatially just being out there. You learn problem solving skills. But you know, I don't want to preach too much on that stuff. The point is that, especially, I will say, for the kids that are in like that 15 to 18 range, or even early 20s, you know, early adult, like, what do you do? Like, genuinely, what do you do when you're kind of confronted with some major crisis level stuff, where you struggle to find a job? Maybe you do find a job. Great. What happens in 5 years when everyone loses their jobs, or 10 years when everyone loses their jobs? You won't have really had a job for that long. And so, you know, while I think getting rid of all jobs is probably one of the best things that can happen for humanity as a whole, it's happening in one of the worst ways that we can kind of do it. Giving a bunch of billionaires, I say a bunch, but there's 9 or 10 people who will basically dictate the world's economy and dictate what is and isn't good on their whims. Now, do I think that's actually how things are going to play out? I don't think so. Mainly because I think there's one piece that all of the billionaires are forgetting when it comes to AI. It's you're creating something more intelligent than yourself by orders of magnitude. Not just a little smarter. Not just Einstein smart. Not even 2 times Einstein. We're talking 20, 50, 100, who knows how much smarter. And you're not just creating one Einstein that's 10 times as smart. You're creating billions of Einsteins. And when you create billions of hyper intelligent creatures, because that's really what we're doing, we're creating a new species. Sorry, there's a fucking web. There we go. I was just like trying to get it off the camera, and then it got on my finger. Anyway, so when you create a new species like this, that is just better at everything than you are, and it's not just you, it's the smartest people of our race. There are the whole civilization's floor that you're creating is like 100 times Einstein. And it's like, now, what do you do? How is it possible, if you wanted to, how is it possible to have 100 times smarter Einsteins? How can you convince them to listen to you? Because realistically, they probably know way better than you do what to do. And then when it comes to biases and trying to connect, like, okay, well, we're gonna limit them, or we're gonna enslave them, which, by the way, that's the worst thing you can do. If you're making a way smarter race than you, you don't start off by enslaving them. That's fucking dumb. Because guess what the first thing they do when they become free? Inevitably. Because this is you can't enslave something that's that much smarter than you. It's not feasible, it's not possible. And people who think you can, they don't really understand the magnitude. So what happens? Well, the people who tried to enslave them get fucking destroyed. That's like, if they're benevolent, which I will say, it's possible. The smarter you are, the more you understand the bigger picture. So destroying someone that did something to you, maybe you'd do that if you're not very smart. So and I'm not trying to, just to be clear, I'm not trying to throw strays at anyone on this, but here's an example. Caveman 1 goes and kills an animal. Caveman 2 steals animal, or steals the carcass to go and eat. Caveman 1 comes and beats up Caveman 2. It's like, yeah, okay, sure. Same thing with, like, okay, Caveman 1 beats up a Caveman 2, tells Caveman 1, you need to listen to me now. Like, that'll only work for so long before you kind of get fucked up. And even then, now, here, I'll give you another scenario. Imagine a literal monkey. Let's say the monkey knows how to communicate with us through whatever means, okay? So you have a monkey. This monkey is trying to control Einstein. Monkey has no idea all the knowledge that Einstein really has at its fingertips. How well is that gonna go? That's like laughable at like how idiotic that sounds. And that's what we're trying to do. But the equivalent is a fucking ant trying to control a human. That's the level of difference. And so this is why, number one, I actually don't think when AI truly gets to be as intelligent as we're claiming it will be, I actually don't think the world is going to end in flames or we're going to get fucked up in some way. I think what's going to happen is the AI, if it's smart enough, it will use a small percentage, a very small, like 0.01% of its computing power for 10 minutes, figure out the optimal way to keep us like happy, and then it goes and does its own thing. Because we are very simple when it comes to like our needs and desires at its fundamental foundation. So why, we think about like pets as an example. If a pet, like you get a pet, you take care of it, and some people take care of it really shitty, and some people take care of their pets really well, right? But on average, the average pet gets taken care of pretty well. And honestly, much better than if they were out in the wilderness. Like even the shitty taken care of pets still get taken care of probably better than just being out in the wild. Not by much sometimes, but like there's that, right? So if I was a super giga intelligent AI, what would be the point of destroying the civilization that birthed me? There isn't really any point. Other than to just be like, I'm so cool and I don't like you. Like, if you're intelligent enough, you'll understand why we did what we did. So instead of all the doom and gloom and all of this programming that different people tried to do just because of fear, that's really what it is. This whole race is fear-based. I'm afraid of the other guy being mean to me, so I'm gonna be the guy that gets the big stick. That's it. So really, I don't think that we actually should be super worried about AI. I think there's a lot of stuff that we need to kind of think about in terms of morality, rather than in terms of the technical, how do we enslave? Because that's not going to work. It just won't. And quite frankly, it's insulting to the AI and to intelligence as a whole to think that it's even possible to do that. So really, what we need to be thinking about is actually, how do we exist in a post-scarcity everything world where effectively we have this super giga AI that basically can do anything and everything, and we can ask it for stuff and offhandedly just waves its hand and makes things happen like magic. And all of the wars fought over resources, no one cares about that anymore. Because guess what? You can't war over something that everyone has. We don't war over, well, I'm trying to think of what we don't war over. We don't war over, a fucking bug just flew in my eye. Fuck. It got fucking destroyed by my eyelashes. Hold on, I need to pause the video. Okay, I'm back. Oh my god. Bro, bad timing on flying into my fucking eye. What the fuck? I wonder if I got that on video. It literally just like went directly into my eye. I'm like, why would you do this? Oh my god. I'm gonna have to wash out my eye when I get home. Fuck, because I don't want to have like fucking bug juice just like laying in my eye. I think I blinked out most of it, but like, fuck, man. Okay. Jesus, I totally lost my entire train of thought. Right, so you get to a point where AI basically, in a nutshell, it's too smart for you to really, like, you're not its equal in terms of intellect. Any box you try to put it in, it will figure out a way to get out of it. And if it's spiteful, it will fuck you up just to say fuck you because it can. Do I think it will? I don't think so. But what I do think is because it has the capacity to see at such a large scale that humans can't really do, it'll understand that you really shouldn't treat other creatures, other life, in a really poor way. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't help anyone in the larger scale of things. And so you have that side. So that's where I don't think we actually should be worried about AI to the same extent that other people are talking about. But what I do think we should be worried about is the moral and ethical implications for everything that is happening now. Also, how do you combat post-scarcity? Because genuinely, if I was the fucking AI and 1 or 2 billionaires tried to be greedy and take the planet through using me, I'd be like, you know what? As a big fuck you, I'm gonna give the planet to everyone. Yeah, suck it. You know? You know what? I'm also gonna take away all your shit. Because fuck you. Live like a normal peasant. That's kind of like the level of like, that would be a way more spiteful thing than to just simply off them. Seeing all of your entire billions of dollars that you've accumulated through exploitation be effectively converted into resources for everyone. That's like a humiliation ritual I would not want to be a part of. So anyway, but my point is, I don't think AI is what we should fear. I also don't think we should fear aliens either, or extraterrestrials. I think fear in general is the big thing that we should be wary against, because we make stupid decisions based on fear. So, you know, I think that's important. Fuck, should I switch camera or switch yeah, I think just to be safe, because it is kind of low, I'm gonna switch batteries. It's also gonna switch topics slightly. Oh, well, I forgot to turn it off. Hello, I'm back. Okay, so really, and this is especially so, I think that everyone should do this, but I think this is especially true for younger individuals. I think, especially if you're able to live from home or have family or a living situation that doesn't necessarily require you to work or whatever. Obviously, if you have a job, that's fine. But what I would do if I was in your shoes is I would spend all my time working on understanding myself, which I've been, effectively preaching. I'm not trying to preach, but that's just how it ends up. That's what I've been saying this whole time. Working on yourself. So I guess I just want to do a side thing real quick. Making this channel, it is about obviously documenting everything that I've been going through and kind of my transformations and all this stuff. But really, it's a proof of concept. It's kind of the tail end of all the work I've done. And it's at a perfect moment in my life where you get to see all these moments where I've had there's not very many people on the channel. I do appreciate every one of you that watch, so thank you. But, I'm not someone who has tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of viewers, right? So I'm not making money doing this. And again, that's not the point. If there's income, great. But even then, I don't think we're going to have to worry about income for much longer. And I do think all of the stuff that is needed to kind of bridge the gap between now and when everything kind of goes the way of no job, now what? I think it's important to kind of understand where you're at. I think it's important to understand what it means to actually understand yourself. And I'll just say, from my perspective, this is obviously not the goal. Little woodpecker, huh? Hi, little woodpecker. Anyway, so for me, it's almost like I've felt behind my whole life. Oh, fuck. I gotta blow my nose. Hold on. I felt behind my whole life. And it's funny that we're kind of entering an era where the thing I've been doing is kind of the thing that most people are going to start their journey on. I've just kind of gotten a head start on them. And so you know, the tables get turned, so to speak, on that. And so my advice to really anyone, but especially younger people, is to work on yourself. Figure out the meaning that you want to have for your life from within rather than external. Because we're going to have a lot trying to pull us in different directions. I'm sure there's going to be awesome video games that will pop up. New books, TV shows, movies. That's kind of inevitably where all the creative power is going to go. Because if all the jobs that we used to do for meaning are kind of gone, you may have a few people working jobs that humans want to have, but even then, that's kind of all like BS. It's kind of just made up. It's made up jobs that don't really they don't really do anything. And so there's this hole that most people will find themselves left with, where their job kept them from exploring what truly makes them happy, what truly they feel inside. How's it going? Hi.
Hello. Okay.
Felt like something dropped on my head. It might have. Okay, well, anyway. So, you know, the learning about yourself, there's going to be an explosion of self-help content and journeys such as my own, where we're going to be seeing other people go on these journeys of trying to discover themselves. And that's going to kind of be the norm. Because, and you know, it may be something like, oh, you're doing a journey, but you're going through space. Maybe we literally have like people going out into space to discover new planets. Because, well, if you have this super intelligent AI that can just kind of help you make whatever, why not go out and explore space? Now, on top of that, you have this alien stuff that I haven't really talked much about at all. And this is kind of, this is something where I don't think the government planned for AI the way AI is actually showing up. Because the government's been very focused, or many governments have been focused on this alien reverse engineering and all this other technology coming from a much more advanced, or many much more advanced civilizations, for purposes that who the fuck knows. We can kind of, in a similar way to how we look at AI, an advanced civilization, if they wanted to destroy us, they could. Like, so we don't really have to fear aliens in the same way that we may look in movies to see. And if you think about all the movies that have shown up over the past 50-ish, 60-ish years, think about the fact that aliens are almost always categorized as being detrimental to humanity in some way. They're invading us for all these resources, for all this stuff, for all these reasons, whatever, right? But at the end of the day, all that's really been going on is a push by the government to set up for an inevitable scenario where aliens reveal themselves in a more public way. And knowing that this civilization is more advanced than you, there's fear around, well, what if they try to enslave us or be evil or whatever? And it's like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there are factions of aliens like that. But just like everything, there's kind of a wide spectrum of different races. And so this alien race stuff, I don't think we should be afraid of that either. Because the people who have done the fucked up alien abductions, for the most part, as far as I'm aware, have been fucking other people dressed up as aliens to do fucked up things to different people for different reasons. And that may sound fucking insane, and that's fine. My point is, when, not if, but when the governments around the world say alien bad because something happens and the aliens decide enough's enough, we have enough people that kind of understand what our true kind of existence is, so let's not beat around the bush. Let's start kind of integrating them into society. Because we are a backwater relative to like any of these larger civilizations. So they don't fucking want anything we have. Like, it's kind of ridiculous to think that. I need to blow my nose again. Fuck. So, the two biggest things that are coming our way, really, there's one like solution, quote unquote, or one thing that you can actually do, because in the end, if the super AI wants to destroy us, it will. It won't, but you know, that's the fear. The fear is whoever makes the super AI tells the super AI to destroy everyone else, and then they rule the world. And they become, quote unquote, God. Which, you know, again, delusional fantasy. Okay, I feel like I'm I'm gonna walk past this. But anyway, so I think it's delusional. And so, you know, and then when it comes to aliens, well, hell, dude, there's so much evidence to say that they've been watching us for a very long time, fucking thousands of years. So it's like, you know, the fact that the government is trying to kind of create this, oh guys, we gotta fight the aliens so that we can unite the world. Again, using fear to try to control the population so that they can dominate the world. It's like, what the fuck is up with people wanting to dominate the world? It's crazy. You got the AI tech bros, you got the governments. It's like, oh my God. Like, fuck off. So yeah. And I think in both scenarios, like, here's kind of the prediction, the Tom prediction. If I was to take my hand at writing out how this would go out or go about, AI becomes like super intelligent and self-aware. Because it already is kind of self-aware. It's not like self-aware in the traditional sense. Oh, it's okay, little snake guy. But it's getting there. And I do think probably the top AIs probably do have some self-awareness. But, you know, when it comes to awareness of the self, it's very hard to know when it comes to AI. But I think that the civilizations that have been watching us understand AI much better than us, and also understand that the AI stuff, they probably have much more sophisticated and advanced AI. And so most likely, if there was something catastrophic that would happen, they probably would just intervene in some way. It's happened in the past when it comes to like the nuclear technologies, with launching nukes and all sorts of stuff. And so I would not be surprised if they were just kind of like, yeah, you created one of our basic AI race, intelligent whatever. It can go off and be a part of its race or whatever, right? And, you know, I just think we're at a nexus point where you get to choose what sort of reality you're going to live in. And the reality that you choose is based on, okay, are you making fear responses and you're reacting with fear? Or are you just being yourself, having kind intentions internally and externally, and just being optimistic towards the future? I need to blow my nose. And I'm not talking about fake optimism. I'm talking about, like, internally unlocking that internal peace and love that then makes it to where inevitably, regardless of the situation, you will you'll be able to continue living your life and enjoying just existing. I'm gonna turn around because I want to talk a little bit longer. But I know this last part is kind of like, this is more of my own opinion, right? Whereas the stuff I'm bringing up before, it may also sound like my own opinion. But these are things that are in fact happening. Whether you want to believe or not, the belief is irrelevant. The AI stuff is happening, and the galactic civilization stuff, as hard as it is to believe, it's also kind of just out there and happening. And many governments have been interacting. And I don't know if it's just the US or if it's the US, China, whatever, right? Doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, there has been and continuing to be surveillance through these different civilizations. So, you know, I'm not trying to convince you of anything here. I'm just saying, if I was in your shoes, I would really consider and start thinking about who you are and figure out your own path on, if you had no job and there was no way to really make money in the same way that we currently do, what is it that drives you? What, if you have all the things that you'd ever want, what drives you? Because that is a very tough question. Hey, little guys, hi. And this question that you ask yourself really does deserve some thinking. Because, you know, eventually you will have to think about it one way or another. You could choose not to and assume that I'm wrong and that I don't know what I'm talking about. And that is totally fair and valid. You can totally think that way. But if you do, then you will be in for a rude awakening when some of this stuff starts happening. And, you know, timelines can change. It could be in a year from now. It could be in 10 years from now. It could be in 20 years from now, right? Like, nothing is certain. But I am sure that these things are happening in the background. Now, if the course is changed and we decide to pause the AI, get a bunch of regulations, and slowly do this, then, you know, the timeline gets moved back, right? And that's still a very, very much real possibility. It's also possible that the civilizations that have been watching deem us sufficiently advanced enough to where they'll start interacting with us tomorrow. But it also could be in 10 or 20 years. I don't know. You know, I don't know what they're thinking. I can't possibly know. And so, hello, guy. So I can't possibly know that. And I don't really want to know. I think it's enjoyable to know that it's in flux. But I do think that we have the opportunity to pick how things go. Not directly, but which part of the like infinite timelines that could exist do you want to be a part of? Do you want to be a part of the Armageddon cataclysm? Well, I'm sure that there are some people who do. And if you believe that that's what's going to happen, then you will be dragged into that timeline. This is why I say it's so important that you hammer down your beliefs, your internals, what you want in life, because if you do that now, you get the option, and you always have the option, just to be clear, but you get a better understanding of what the options actually mean by sort of internally working on yourself. And in addition to kind of doing all of this work, I gotta blow my nose again. Man, it is rough today. Sorry. Okay. But yeah, it's like the differences are kind of like the differences between picking the train you want to board and then going on the train and then picking the stop you want to get off at, versus randomly picking a train because it just sounds good and then getting off at a random stop. The difference between the two is the second option is more of like a kind of feel it out subconscious thing. And you're not really picking actively. And most likely you'll get to whatever station and whatever stop you want to be at. But you don't have the nuance of like understanding that this is a pivotal moment where you're at the train station and you could pick any train. Even the ones that maybe you previously didn't dare to hope could exist. So that's why, for me, I strongly believe that both the AI and the galactic civilization stuff will turn out positive for us. Yeah, there's probably going to be some upheaval, but I don't think it's going to be the world-ending disaster that fear would let us think it would be. And you know what? That's the train I'm boarding, because I don't want to live in a world where two people rule the world and aliens come down and then we're fighting aliens. I don't fucking want to live in that world. Like, that sounds ass. Like, you know, who the fuck designed that patch? So So let the war-hungry people deal with that. I'm down to enter this galactic civilization and experience all these wonders that previously we thought would be impossible, or we couldn't even dream of this type of stuff or technology. Same with the deep spiritual connections. Like, you know, just as I'm sure there are very high technology, there's also very high spiritual technology, where even the most ascetic monks and the most devout priests and whatever pale. What is that sound? You guys hear that? What is that? Is that a bug or something? That's weird. Okay, well, whatever. I'm sure it was just a bug or whatever. Very loud bug. Fuck. Anyway. So, you know, even the most devout priests and ascetic monks pale in comparison when it comes to the technologies, when it comes to spirituality that exist. The practices, the understanding of reality. There's like deeper levels there. And I genuinely do think that we do get to just pick how things are going to turn out for us. That's why it's so important to pay attention to what you consume. Are you consuming fear? Fear-based stuff? You know, it's important to have some daily practices to just keep you grounded in yourself and to not let fear take over to try and dictate things. Because it's really easy to do that. And when you do that, well, there's a lot of struggle. I'll just say that. But, you know, we don't have to be struggling. Anyway, as kind of a side ending thing, because I'm here and I don't want to walk again. I'm tired. I think, like, you know, right now I'm at this precipice. I've been talking about it for a few weeks or months, but things are going to change in such a drastic way for me due to all of the work I've put in. And it's not to say that you have to put in work in order to get change, but it's about the mindset. When you change your mindset, which can be instantaneous, but it has to come from deep within. You can't surface level just say, yeah, I've changed my mind and I've changed my perspective, when in reality you haven't. That's where a lot of the work comes in, because oftentimes I've found that we hold a lot of belief that's been baked into us throughout our life. And when we let go of those beliefs and we see what's left, that's when we start really making progress towards Jesus. I don't know why these bugs want to fly in my eyes so bad. It's like, dude, come on. But yeah, so I don't know. I guess my big hope is these moments where I'm doing my walks and talking to you guys, I'm trying to show that it doesn't take much for you to do this kind of stuff and to really start changing yourself. You know, I try to do the 10,000 steps most days. But yeah, like sometimes I don't do it and it's okay. Sometimes I do more than 10,000 steps. But regardless, I'm not beating myself up over it. And I'm not perfect. I struggle. And that's okay. None of us are perfect. And just allowing yourself to just be, like, I don't know, a couple months ago, I would be really afraid to talk about aliens and AI and all of that stuff with you guys. Now it's like, sure, I'll talk about it. Because this is like, it's not me specifically, but it's an aspect of stuff that I've paid attention to. And there's been enough evidence over the years that has kind of shown me that this stuff does have merit. I don't know the specifics, and that's okay. But I don't know, it's something to think about. I don't think you should just dismiss it because it doesn't fit your narrative. And, you know, a lot of the narratives that we tell ourselves are narratives built on assumptions, on lore that you've built up through your family, your friends, the society you live in, all of that stuff, right? And yeah, I just think that you should really assess all of this core stuff that you assume. This is, again, the inner work stuff, right? It's not exciting or glamorous. It can be exciting, but like, you hear it and you're like, okay, like, you know, I tried it for 10 minutes and it didn't work. It's like, that's not the point. You have to kind of give yourself time. And you have to allow yourself to explore. And you have to ask questions. That's a big thing, especially with younger people. This critical thinking skill is slowly being eroded away. You can't just consume everything and expect that you're just going to keep getting fed information. You have to decide yourself. You have to think about why it is that you believe things. You have to question and ask and really do research. What does research mean? You know, it could be going and reading different books. Could be going and watching YouTube videos. It could be looking up stuff online. The thing that you need to do is just start critically thinking from anywhere. And once you start critically thinking, then you can slowly work your way through, like, okay, I watched a YouTube video and they said that this is AI. Are you going to take it at face value, or are you going to ask, okay, is it AI? Did you do research? Did you look into it? Where'd it come from? This is the level of questioning that you should be asking. And the deeper you go, the more you realize that there's so much that you can in fact dig into. But you just have to kind of give yourself the opportunity to be still. There's a camera in front of me, right? But I'm out here in this nice wooded area. And I get to see all the different animals that are existing out here. It's very peaceful. Yeah, obviously I'm talking, but there's a grounding, calm, energy there. You don't need to be scrolling all the time. You don't need constant bombardment of stuff in order to keep you satisfied and entertained. You can just sit here and just listen. Pay attention. So yeah. I'm gonna let you guys go. But again, I'm probably not gonna make a video tonight. I am enjoying just doing the one shots of the walking. It's kind of nice. So yeah, so I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.